So today I'm going to be demonstrating some techniques for how to properly draw up medication. With exotic animals, we mostly are going to be using liquid suspensions rather than pills or tablets or capsules that you might give to a dog or a cat. We work with compounded liquid flavored medications instead. We generally are going to be sending you home with some syringes. Our smallest ones are insulin syringes with obviously no needle. These are measured in units. This is a 30 unit syringe. The next size up from there is a tuberculin syringe. It has 1 ml. Just for reference, 0.3 mLs is the same quantity as 30 units. And these syringes actually do tell you that. It says 0.3 mLs on it. But just for some reference, that's how big the syringe is. This whole syringe is only 0.3. And then this is a 3 ml syringe. And again, for reference sake, if you wanted to know what 0.3 is, you would go to the 0.3. So here's a half a mil, which is 0.5. So 0.3 would be to the third little line, just to give you guys a basic lesson on how these syringes work. So some examples might include getting a medication like this. The directions are to give 0.05 mLs, which is in parentheses 5 units, by mouth twice daily for 10 days, and shake well. Please make sure if you do get a bottle that says shake well on it to make sure it actually is shaken super well. A lot of these suspensions have actual sedimentation on the bottom where some of the medication may concentrate. And if you don't suspend it by mixing it and shaking it really well, you may not be giving the correct amount of medication to your pet. So I'm giving 0.05 mLs. I want to be very clear that that is very different from 0.5 mLs. So 0.05 on our smallest syringes is 5 units. I can take my syringe and dip it into my medication. I like to take my syringe and move the plunger back and forth to kind of draw up the correct amount and try not to have too much air or bubbles mixed in there. And then you can see I've got up to the 5 of the medication, and then I'm going to administer it. Now, if I wanted to use a larger syringe, so suppose I was giving this amount to, like, say, a large parrot that could easily rip or bite the tip of this off, and I wanted to use something more sturdy, I might want to use this syringe. Now, in that case, I want to be clear, 0.05 is not 0.5. That's 10 times more than you need. You want 0.05, so it's less than 0.1. Here's 0.1, which is kind of like 0.10. You want 0.05. So if that were the amount we were going for, again, I'm going to move my plunger back and forth to get some air out if I can. And then I'm going to tip this up. If you do have a lot of air in your syringe, you can also tip it upside down, tap out the bubbles like this to get the bubbles to the top. You will have a little wastage if it spills out, but at least you can see now I don't have any bubbles. And then I'll just squirt very carefully out the amount I don't need until I'm left with 0.05. Okay? Another example might be that I'm going to give 0.5 of a medication. As I mentioned, now this is going to be 10 times as much. I want to make a note that this prescription is labeled to keep in the refrigerator. All of our prescriptions should have stickers on them. If you have any questions, give us a call, but if it doesn't say keep in the refrigerator, you can assume it can be kept at room temperature. So then you're going to take your syringe, you're going to dip it in. This is just for demonstration purposes. This is not real usable medication, in case you're wondering. And so say I want to use 0.5 mils. Oh boy, I don't even know if I have enough in here to show you. Oh. So again, I'm going to pull this out. You can see I've got some air in here. I'm going to tap it out, squirt the remainder out, and I'm left with 0.5 mils. Okay? one final example. Let me grab a paper towel because this stuff can get kind of greasy and sticky because it has flavoring. The last example here says to give 0.3 mils. Another shake well before using. Give it a good shake. Make sure there's no sediment sticking around on the bottom. Make sure it's shaken well. Now, those of you who are paying attention will notice 0.3 mils. I could either use this tiny syringe and draw up, wow, all the way to the 0.3, fill it up. I could use this medium-sized syringe and draw it up to the 0.3, like this. Or if I again have that really large parrot or a rabbit or something that I want to use a larger syringe for and I want 0.3, let me get the air out here. You're going to be to the 0.3, the third little line, 0, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, all right? Now, I wanted to also let you know that we at the center, if you are especially a new client to us, we will not send you home without giving you syringes that are pre-marked. We don't want you to be confused because we know this is confusing. So you're gonna get a syringe that has a red line on it, piece of tape. If it's 0.05, you're going to see the little red tape. If it's 0.05 and you want a larger syringe, you're going to have some tape here on the appropriate mark. And again, 0.05 with the red line is going to be right here. So we will try to make it as easy for you as possible. And as always, you can give us a call if you have questions, because we do know this can be a little bit complicated. We want to make sure you get the right size syringe for your pet. We want to make sure you're giving the right amount of medication and not giving too little or too much. Thanks, and any questions, give us a shout.